the Boyz Hut.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Boyz Hut podcast. Today I am joined by Aydin.
Hello.
And Michael.
Hello.
For this first episode of the podcast, we are beginning our series on Warhammer 40k lore. Today, specifically, we will be going over the basics of the Imperium, what Psykers are, and what the Primarks and Space Marine Legions are. So I just wanted to ask, what are both your knowledge on 40k in general?
So I know I played Dawn of War, I played a lot of the orcs. I know that their machines, like, run off their belief that the machines will work, so that's pretty cool.
And Michael?
I play both Dawn of War and the board game. I mainly go Blood Angels. I know the basic understanding of some lore. I know what the Imperium of Man is. I know some, I know all the different Space Marine types. I know what, Guardsmen are. I just know, basic understanding.
Alright. Okay, basically, our first topic is the overview of just the Empire and the Imperium itself. So, basically, once upon a time, we just had a normal world, right? On Terra, pretty much Earth. Then a big dude made himself clear. His name was the Emperor. He united the entire planet under one banner and took to the stars, exploring and stretching out the Imperium of Man's grip on the galaxy further and further.
I'm sorry. I have a question.
Yeah.
Was the Emperor's name literally the Emperor?
That's what everyone knew him by. That's what everyone called him.
Did he not have a real name?
If he did, no one knows.
Okay.
Also, basically, so the Emperor was a god tier level Psyker. Psykers are basically wizards and mages in this universe. They use the power of the warp, basically space hell, to conjure power like magic and all this other stuff.
So can they summon, demons from space hell to come fight for them?
Well, here's the thing. There are Psykers on the Imperium side, although the Imperium are very, they're very, how do I say it, cautious of them, because the entire Imperium doesn't trust Psykers. Then there's the heretic Psykers, who are more on the Chaos side, who, yes, they can summon demons, I guess you could say.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, basically, and then there's the Xenos and all that. Basically, one thing you gotta realize when talking about 40k is that it's what they kind of invented the term grim dark.
Yeah.
Essentially, no one in that is good. The Imperium of Man, for example, anyone who doesn't believe with their religious beliefs and anyone who is not human, they believe deserves to die.
Wow.
Doesn't matter the choice. The Imperium are incredibly bad. Then let's say there's no one in the world. Every faction has stuff good. Even the evil Chaos, which are like the demons. Each Chaos god has their own individual good stuff and bad stuff while talking about said Chaos gods. All of them have their own thing that's good, but they're all evil in some way.
That's definitely cool that there's no good guy, nobody you're supposed to root for. You kind of just come up with your own idea of good guys and bad guys.
Yeah, basically, the whole thing about the Emperor that allowed him, basically, people treat the Emperor and the Imperium as a god, essentially. So after the Horus Heresy, the big event where a group of the Emperor's Primarch sons betrayed him, mortally wounding him and putting him onto on the golden throne, where his psychic power allows him to help the other people to space travel. Keep in mind, by space traveling in 40k lore is their spaceships literally rip a hole into space hell and travel through it.
Huh. So it's kind of like Minecraft. You travel one block in the Nether, 8 blocks in the overworld.
Essentially. Yeah, basically, that's kind of the whole thing about the Emperor. He's pretty much a living skeleton on top of a chair who is mortally wounded by his own sons.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah,
Very
essentially.
cool.
Again, basically, people think that there's the Imperium has all different kinds of threats, whether it be orcs or Tyranids or Necrons or Eldar or just chaos in general. But today we'll probably cover those in later sessions or whatever. Okay, now on to our next topic. We are going to talk about who the Primarchs are. Essentially, the Primarchs are the Emperor, basically using his own genes and genes from other people, in a lab created 13 sons. I believe that's the right number, I may be wrong. 13. Some freak accident happens, and they were scattered across the universe. The Emperor went on a great crusade to to discover the rest of the Imperium and unite it under one banner, or all the galaxy. But essentially, he found his sons while doing this. Now I will describe, basically, these Primarchs are people who are imbued with the Emperor's strength. So they are twice the size of a Space Marine. They're super strong. Some of them have really powerful psychic powers. Today, we will just talk about the Loyalist Primarchs. Again, as I mentioned during the Horus Heresy, multiple Primarchs turned to chaos. Those Primarchs led the Chaos Space Marine Legions. Those we will not talk about. We'll talk about that next time when we cover Chaos. However, today we're just going to talk about the Loyalist ones, the ones who are still working with them.
How long does a Primarch live for?
They haven't, or to be fair, the Primarchs, there's only one of each one, and they've lived for very long times.
Very long.
So
time.
they
Okay.
haven't,
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if they can die by age.
Wow. Okay.
They perhaps
interesting.
can, but
Space Marines also live for a long time.
yes, all of them, all these genetically enhanced humans live for a long time. Oh, yeah, basically, okay, the Primarch. The first Primarch we're going to go over is Leman Russ. These, by the way, these are not in order by the Primarch birth rate. We're just going over them in the order that I put.
Okay.
Here, Leman Russ is the Primarch of the Space Wolves, and his home planet is Fenris. Currently in the current lore, his location is unknown. However, there are theories about him being in the warp doing stuff. Basically,
what is the warp dune?
Wait, say that again?
What is the warp dune? You said something about
I
warp
said he's
dune?
he's in the warp doing stuff. That's one of the fan theories.
Okay.
He's not dead, but people don't know where he is. Basically, I will talk about the actual Space Marine legions when on the next topic.
Okay.
The next Primarch is Vulcan, Primarch of the Salamanders. He is the homeworld of Nocturne, and he supposedly died in some big fight or whatever, but it's also heavily implied and theorized that he's still alive.
Huh, cool.
The next Primarch is Rogueldorn. He's the Primarch of the Imperial Fists from the homeworld of Medusa. He is currently dead.
How did he die?
Another I believe it had something to do with some chaos space battle or something like that. Again, I don't know the exactness, but I think it's something like that, and then he died.
Okay.
The next Primarch is Robu Gilliman, also known. He has many names. People in the fandom call him Robot Girly Man and various other names due to the fact that his name is impossible to spell.
Yeah.
He's the Primarch of the Codex Astartes following Ultramarines. He has the homeworld of Macrog. He is currently alive, and he's currently in the lore leading the Great Indomitus Crusade to unite the entire Imperium again.
Huh. Okay.
Our next Primarch is Sanguinius, Primarch of the Blood Angels. His homework is Baal. He is currently dead, mainly because during the Horus Heresy, he was killed by one of the heretic Primarch brothers.
Huh. A lot of armor on this guy.
The next Primarch is Lionel Johnson. He's the Primarch of the Dark Angels. He is a home planet Caliban, and his current location is just unknown. People don't know where he is. He is still alive, however. He is also the oldest of the Primarchs since he was born first, and also he has the first Space Marine Legion.
Very cool.
Next Primarch is Jag Hatai Khan. He's the Primarch of the White Scars, home world of Mundus Planus. He's also location currently unknown. People theorize that he's currently in one of the webway, in the Eldar webways, doing stuff over there. People don't actually know where his location is in the lore currently.
Huh, okay.
For our final Primarch is Corvus Corax. Primarch of the Raven Guard. He is the homeworld of Deliverance, and his location is also unknown. Basically, if you didn't notice a theme here, a lot of the Primarchs are...
Yeah, is there a reason for that?
Basically, a lot of them just went off on their own ways to go do things. The lore itself hasn't expressed what they are doing or what their goals are. A lot of them are in the warp fighting demons. A lot of them are just across the galaxy doing just random stuff. A lot of them, it's like they just disappeared one day and we don't know. For example, Corvus specifically said that, he'll return. Currently, it's a fan theory that he's in the warp fighting great demons like Batman.
Okay. Do you think they'll ever... Do you think they'll ever group up again?
Well, that's the thing. The Games Workshop are known for proceeding with the lore at a very slow pace. So basically, yes, they will group up again, I'm sure, if they're not dead already. Also, in Corvus, they actually released a short story, or a story or whatever, that did actually say that he was in the warp doing stuff. He's guaranteed alive, but people don't know exactly where.
So he is the only one that we actually know what he's doing and where he is.
Well, Roboot Gilliman is, we know what he's doing because he's literally helping the Imperium. He's kind of leading the Imperium to do stuff right now, since all of his other brothers are either dead or not there at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, now we're gonna have a small discussion period. What did you guys think of that? Do you have any questions, or just simply discuss about the knowledge?
I think they're all pretty cool. You can definitely see in the art that we'll have on screen how large they are compared to the other Space Marines, like you said. Definitely twice the height. Look very powerful, very commanding. Yeah, and they if you look at the art on screen, you can definitely see that by their overall look, you can kind of guess the theme of their legion. For example, you look at Corvus, and he has wings and flying claws, and essentially, while then you look at Jag Hatai Khan, he has more of it's kind of weird. He's kind of a Mongolian, I guess you could say, aesthetic to him, and the rest of his legion kind of follows that. And then you look at, let's say, Roboot Gilliman, he has that gold and blue that the rest of his stuff kind of follows. So I'm assuming they all have their own quirks, and then another question I have is how did this guy get wings if they're all part of the same family basically? Well, those are wings attached to his armor.
If you can see on his back, there's turbines. So it's like
to be fair, Sanguinius has wings.
Yeah, Sanguinius has wings.
Basically, Rick, I don't know what happened there, but he has wings, and essentially, I'll talk more about that when we get to the actual Space Marine legends.
Yeah, that's where Blood Angels come in with Sanguinary Guard. They all have angel wings.
Basically, Rick, all Blood Angels have wings, but they're tiny Cupid wings, so they keep them under their armor. But for example, their elite Sanguinary Guard, I'll put on the video version. This will most likely have a picture of the models or art or whatever on the screen. Basically, the Sanguinary Guard, they're rare Blood Angel gene seed soldiers who somehow were born with larger wings, more normal sized wings than the typical Blood Angel soldier.
Very cool.
Are there any other questions?
I think we're ready to move on.
Back to Space Marine Age. This is kind of off topic, but in the short animated film Astartes, there's weird, different colored pegs on his temple of his forehead. Does that mean anything? There's silver and gold. Aren't those service years?
To start. First of all, Astartes is a fan-made thing, so I don't really know, and I'm pretty sure those pegs mean something about... I'm not going to say rank, but again, it's the Astartes Legion. Yeah, basically the Astartes Legion Space Marine chapter that they show in there, and the enemies they fight against are fan-made stuff. It's very good. I recommend if you're listening to this, you should probably go watch it. It's very short, like 10 minutes long, but also it is a fan-made thing. So I wouldn't take that as any knowledge at all.
I looked it up and it says something about service studs.
Again, I'm not the biggest. I know stuff about Warhammer, but I'm not like an expert on what Space Marines use as gear or anything like that.
And in the description, I'll link the animated short. It's very, very good, very high quality.
Yeah, and by the way, just so you know, it's made by one person, so like,
yeah,
shows how good one dude can make some good content. Anyways, it sounds like we're ready to move on to the next topic.
Yep, let's go.
Our next topic are, what are the Space Marines? The Space Marines are essentially so each Primarch has something called their gene seed. Essentially, basically, it's some of their genes that they put into like genetically modified babies or children to create Space Marine warriors. Every Primarch in every chapter has their own gene seed. Essentially, what that means is that each Space Marine Legion is typically very different. For example, the Blood Angels have their little wings, while the Ultramarine, and basically they're all different too. Like I said, the Blood Angels are more like kill, while the Ultramarines are more uniform and like follow a very strict code. Anyways, okay, basically, since we're going to that, we're going to go through the Space Marines not in a similar order that the Primarchs appeared in. The first Legion are the Space Wolves. The Space Wolves are essentially they're attributed to the cold environment, and many of them can turn into something called wolfen, basically werewolves.
Cool.
People in the community call them furries because they have a lot to do with wolves and fur, and they transform into anthropomorphic animals with weapons. However, in my opinion, they're not, because I think they're one of the cooler looking space and more unique Space Marine legions.
Aren't they just Vikings?
Essentially,
Okay.
that's like they're like Viking wolf. That's like their whole thing.
That cool. You can definitely tell there's a lot of inspiration taken from real world culture in a lot of these characters.
Our second group of dudes are the Salamanders. Their entire legion are. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that. But basically, Salamanders, their whole theme is that they're fire. Their entire theme, they use fire-themed weapons. They just use fire, I guess you can say. They're all basically, the main quirk about them is they're fire, and they're also supposed to be one of the kinder legions. They always help out guardsmen and help out children. Don't get me wrong, when I say help out children, I don't mean alien children. If they fight alien Xenos, they will literally behead them.
I was gonna say that because this guy doesn't look very nice. The Primarch of the Salamanders.
Yeah, he's actually supposed to be like a really kind person to like normal humans, but to aliens like Xenos races, he is not at all.
Yeah, he really does not look nice.
Alright, the next one is the Imperial Fists, led by Rogueldorn. Their whole theme is that they're kind of like, their overall look and design is a lot more boring compared to the other ones. However, their whole theme is that they're masters of fortification and building. Rogueldorn was hired by the Emperor to create the Palace of Terra, basically the grand palace that stretches like an entire continent on Earth.
Whoa.
It is, and that's, yeah, it's very heavily fortified, and it shows how good he is at that stuff. Also, basically, like, in my opinion, one of the more boring aesthetic.
So he's like a master tactician / like engineer.
Essentially, it's master fortifier.
He's Bob the Builder in 40K.
Yeah.
Essentially. The next legion are the Ultramarines. The Ultramarines are basically they're kind of weird. Roboute Guilliman is the only Primarch that is currently in the Imperium doing stuff. So they're led by him. They're all basically, they follow something that Robert Gilman wrote called the Codex Astartes that labels like many different rules that some Space Marine legions have to follow. Many of them don't follow these rules, but a couple still do. Anyways, they're all basically, if you look at Robert Gilman, they have like kind of like a weird blue kind of gold with like a little bit of a Roman feel to it as well. They are one of the, they're blue and all that, like ultramarine blue, that stuff. They're definitely a lot, basically, how do I say it? They're aesthetically good, cool to look at. But again, they're one of the units that don't really have, they're just bland, I guess you can say.
Yeah. They're just like your basic, like, fighters, kind of?
Well, not necessarily basic fighter. The whole thing is that they're the best in all, they're perfect in every way, and that's their whole thing.
Yeah, I can see how that's kind of boring.
Good at everything, masters of none, I guess you can say.
Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. Alright, our next legion is the Blood Angels. Blood Angels are definitely, in my opinion, one of the more interesting legions aesthetically and lore. Again, Sanguinius was killed during the Horus Heresy. So, basically, all of his soldiers are afflicted by something called the Red Thirst. As they age and as they see more combat, they keep on getting flashbacks of them through their chapter master's eyes, witnessing their Primarch dying. And then they start going into a rage, trying to brutally murder whoever killed him.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's definitely interesting.
That's essentially, and basically the whole thing about that is that eventually they go insane. And then they join something called a death company, etc., etc. But that's something else.
So are they like slowly going extinct because all of them are going
not extinct, insane? But it's just like over time they grow insane, and then they get thrown into death company, who are pretty much just like crazy dudes who are sent in the front lines because they want to die a glorious death, I guess you could say.
So next, looks like we have the Dark Angels.
Yes, next legion are the Dark Angels. They are the first legion. They were created first. They're led by Lionel Johnson, the firstborn Primarch. Their whole theme is that basically they don't follow the Codex Astartes because they're incredibly stubborn following after their Primarch. A lot of people call them traitors and like heretics because they don't worship chaos, but they always have some sort, their whole theme is that they always have some sort of ulterior motive. When they're going into battle, it's not just to fight for the Emperor. There's always something else that they're trying to accomplish. They're actually supposed to be one of the most loyal factions. However, they don't follow other people's rules. They kind of do their own thing for the Emperor.
Very interesting. So they have their own motives, and their motives just happen to align with working for the Emperor?
Yes. Well, I mean, they work for the Emperor first, but they have their own ways and motives of doing so.
They're mercenaries that work for the Emperor.
Not really. Again, basically, they're one of the most loyal legions. Their whole thing is that they always have some sort of ulterior, like, oh, we'll help you, guys in fighting these Xenos, but it will help us get better weapons in some way.
So they're really loyal to the Emperor, but like when they deal with other like species and stuff, they're kind of not.
They just always have something else they gain from doing something. That's essentially it. Our second to last legion are the White Scar, led by their Khan. Basically, like, this is supposed to be more like Mongolian themed dude. Their entire theme is that they just go fast. That's literally it. They just go fast.
That's pretty cool.
They get their bikers and they just drive towards their enemies and go fast.
They use melee combat.
Sure, they're just kind of like, their only thing is they go fast. Whether it's go fast range or go fast melee, they just go fast.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot of angry people who are like, actually, they do this and this and this and this and
Well,
this.
keep in mind, this is supposed to be more of like a really like dumbed down explanation. And that's pretty much. I don't know much about the White Scars. Basically, yeah, exactly. If you Google it, if you Google White Scars, you'll get more information. But essentially, all you can take is that what their chapter is themed in game, in like the tabletop game itself, and in lore is that they just go fat.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay, our final legion are the Raven Guard. Essentially, they're just edgelords who really like to use jetpacks and wings.
Okay.
I guess that's all you can basically really say. Basically, they fly around, do stuff like that. They have a cool aesthetic in my opinion, but they don't have they have two Raven Guard specific units that Games Workshop sell on their website. So they're one of them, I guess you could say, more neglected units, like in the tabletop game, but lore-wise they're pretty cool.
That's very interesting. They seem to have made a lot of unique characters in the lore.
They definitely did. Anyway, since we're here, what are your guys' opinions on all that?
Well, like I said, it's pretty cool. They have all of these people that are unique, and then the whole thing where they're all related. They're all like siblings essentially. That's pretty cool, and like the inevitability that they'll like all meet up eventually. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, essentially, I'd say the chaos, all these Primarks are cool. I'm more into, I guess you could say, the chaos aspect and Xenos aspect of Warhammer, mainly because a lot of the Loyalist Primarks are just kind of meh. There's like a few, like I said, like Sanguinius and Lionel Johnson and Corvus that are interesting, but I find the large majority of them, lore-wise, just kind of, I wouldn't say boring, but you know what I mean. Just kind of.
I've looked through the minifigures on the Warhammer website, and yeah, it's really the Xenos are much cooler looking.
Although basically, there is I guess you could say there's a meme in the community that basically Games Workshop, they release so many, every single time they release any Xenos, they always release a freaking Space Marine unit. Space Marine have 3 times the amount of different units to be able to choose from than any other faction.
Yeah, seems like it.
Space Marines are just in the tabletop game. They're really just just Space Marine player. You're gonna have a fun time because you have a lot of stuff to choose from, compared to well, basically, the thing about Eldar, the people, is that a lot of the Eldar models still look good, but the large majority, the basic infantry for Eldar, have not been updated in a very long time.
You. In your guys' opinion, what is the most interesting Space Marine Legion?
Out of all of them, I think the Blood Angels look really. They definitely, based on the art, they definitely look the coolest.
Yeah, personally, I would say, I think my favorite would probably be Leman Russ, the Space Wolves, just because if you look at, basically they just have I feel like they have a more interesting lore to them compared to Blood Angels, but Blood Angels would be a close second in terms of aesthetics and stuff.
Blood Angels just look cooler.
Do not have special armor, just the basic infantry. It's just like everyone else's armor, except it's a coat of red.
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing about Space Wolf. Every Legion, every basic tactical Marine in the Legion all have the same armor. Only difference is that they're colored different.
Yeah, only the specialty units have different armor, like Sanguinary Guard, etc.
For example, Space Wolves have more of a, you could say a gray and more of a gray aesthetic to match with the wolf thing.
Yeah.
While Salamanders, as you can see in the picture, has a green aesthetic.
Yeah, well, I think we covered everything we wanted to cover, right, guys?
I wanted to add one more thing before we called it. mainly that basically, Rick. I wanted to clarify a bit more on Rick the whole basically, Rick, and like I said, next time we will cover Chaos, and then if we do this again after that, we'll cover Xenos. But I kind of kept this very short-ish to like kind of help us, be able to cover this in a short amount of time, mainly because then we can fit in the other ones. Again, we're going this first like session over Warhammer stuff, we're all going over very dumbed down content. So if you're watching this, don't expect to get an actual in-depth lore. We may go over stuff more in depth after we finish all the basic dumbed down. Also in this series, we're going over the very overall basic stuff. So we're not going over the other Imperium armies of the Imperium. We're not going to go over the Horus Heresy, except maybe we will turn that into another, like, the Horus Heresy and other Imperial armies. They both warrant their entire own episode. So maybe after we're done with the base Chaos and Xenos, we'll go back over and look more in depth on like the Horus Heresy and the other Imperium armies and etc.
Yeah, and I'll provide links to like the more in-depth lore readings if you guys want to.
Well, yeah, pretty much for that you just look at the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, but I'll provide the links anyways.
Yeah. Well, I guess thanks.
This was the Boyz Hut. Thank you for watching.
And I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks for watching.
The Boyz Hut.